Hello Lighthouse fans. This afternoon I'm going to show you how to make focaccia, the taste of summer. Stay with me and I hope you enjoy it. And remember, get the branding, yes. Now this is what you need. You need 2 plastic bowls, some flour obviously, some yeast, gold dust at the moment, some sea salt from Malden, doesn't have to be from Malden but best, some olive oil, weighing machine and a spatula. That's my one, but you can use any sort. So that's what we need before we start. So to start with, we need to make what's called the poulish, which is the sort of the starter, and it's very, very liquidy, and it's made with flour. Strong white bread flour is used throughout this, tepid water and some yeast. To make a regular sized focaccia, these are the measurements. So you take 250 grams of strong white bread. Then we take 250 grams of tepid water, which is about a lighthouse size glass or sans glass. And then we take 2.5 grams of yeast. This is Dove's yeast. I mean, it all depends what you can get these days. And for that, you just need to sprinkle in. There we are. It's about 3 grams, maybe slightly more than necessary. And now you've got to mix this together. And the best way of doing this is, bakers always say you should just use one hand for this and then keep one hand clean, because it does get very, very sticky, all this. So we're just going to mix that together. So what we want to end up with is there are no wet bits and there are no dry bits. We'll just do that, and then we're going to leave this for 2 hours because something will start to change. There we are. Again, be careful with your fingers because it does stick to everything. And then just make a mark of how tall it is on with a marker. Just take a black Sharpie. Just let's see where it is. Out there. And now we're going to leave that for 2 hours. It's 2 hours since we made our poulish, and you can see what's happened to it. It's gone all weird and it's got little holes in the top of it. And look how much it's grown. There's the line we had before, and here it is now. So now it's time to make the bread. So we're going to take 250 grams of flour. We now take 140 grams of water. 5 grams of yeast. Three, 4, 5. 5 grams of yeast. Some salt. Now I'm not going to use the Malden salt at this stage because the Malden salt's going to be used for the top. So I'm just going to use ordinary salt. And it seems quite a lot because it's 10 grams. But it will make it delicious. There we are. Now, we mix this all together. This is the fun bit. Again, we mix it all together until there are no dry bits and no wet bits. But you can see it's changing its consistency in front of our eyes. Now you've got to knead it, and this is a particularly messy bit. And what they say is you can knead it in a sort of more traditional way, but a better way is to get it all out of your bowl, taking one hand and just start beating it like that. Look at the consistency. It looks like a sort of Hammer horror film set of spidery bits coming down from the old curtains. You've got to do this quite rigorously for 5 minutes. So you may not want to watch me do this for 5 minutes. So I'll turn off and I'll come back to you. Now we've got that there. I pre-oiled this other bowl with virgin olive oil. And now we're going to put the dough into the bowl. There it is, okay? Now we're going to, again, mark the level on the side, and we'll come back in 20 minutes time to fold the dough. But until then, we're going to leave that in there on its own for 20 minutes. "20 minutes since we last saw you, and here is the dough. You can see it's beginning to rise a bit from where it was before, but now this is the interesting bit. We're now going to fold it. So we get both hands, put it to one side of the bowl, and pull the dough over the top like that. And if you see how interesting it's looking, it's all slimy now. It's all quite interesting. Then turn the bowl 90 degrees. Do it again. Turn the bowl again. Pull it up. Pull it over. Again, turn the bowl 90 degrees, the bowl. Pull it up and over. And now put the seam bit on the bottom. And look how this is changing now. You see how it's all slimy and quite weird looking, really, isn't it? We're going to leave that for another 20 minutes. As you can see, this is doing nicely, and you can see the mark on the side there. It's growing, but it's 20 minutes since we last folded the dough. So we're going to do the same thing again. Put our hands in one. This stuff is turning. It's all soft and greasy, but rather sensual. We'll leave that for a few more minutes to grow a bit more. Okay, we've left it another few minutes, 10 minutes or so. As you can see, it's risen quite considerably. And now it's time for our next bit, which is to get a oiled with olive oil baking tin. And carefully slide the blob into there. Quite satisfying. And now we're going to turn it again, each side. So now we've got to cover that and leave it for half an hour or so. Now, some people say cover it with some baking paper or a tea towel, but actually it sticks to it. So what I've done, and it seems to work, or I use the pot I've been using, just put that over the top like that, and put that in a warm place. So I'm going to put it on a windowsill for about half an hour. In the meantime, you've got to get your oven ready as hot as possible, So I'm going to suggest, well, in fact, the suggestion is 250 degrees. 250 degrees. Most fan ovens won't get that hot, so just use your regular oven, but 250 minimum. We've had half an hour on the windowsill. We take off the bowl, we don't need that anymore. And as you can see, this is now beginning to look rather wonderful. Now we've got to stretch it so it fits the tray. Be careful not to do too much, because you don't want to sort of, it's incredibly elastic, this stuff. You've got to get underneath it and pull it to the sides. Now, let's put some rosemary, nicked from the gardens of Aldborough, from my neighbour Jenny's garden with her permission. Put that on there. Now we're going to just put a little bit of dribble of oil, and then we're going to put our fingers in like that. That's what gives focaccia those holes, it's just your fingers. And then to finish it off with some Malden sea salt, the best in the business. We'll just give it its salty flavour. And now we put this in the oven for around 15 minutes at 250. 15 minutes at 250, here we go. And ladies and gentlemen, there is some rather nice looking focaccia. What a nice picture. Hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to hearing how you get on. Bye bye.